Hello, Bobby Torres of Frightbox Recording here to share with you 3 pieces of gear that you must have in your home studio, as well as 3 pieces of gear that you don't need. Now, when it comes to information on what you need and don't need within your home studio, it could be extremely overwhelming. Some people claim you need a whole lot, and some people claim that you need next to nothing. Well, in this video, I'm going to share with you my opinion on what you do need and what you don't need. And hopefully it will give you some clarity so you can make some informed decisions for the next time you buy some new gear for your home studio. So this leads me to piece of gear number 1 that you need for your home studio. And that is a pair of closed back headphones. Now, why do you need closed back headphones in your home studio? Well, the reason is simple. Most of us are working in less than ideal acoustic environments. In other words, our rooms are far from perfect. And one of the hardest things to hear in any room, even an acoustically treated room, is low end. And the great thing about closed back headphones is that they're great for referencing low end on. As a matter of fact, I prefer to mix on super small speakers to get mid-range right, and then I check my low end with a simple set of closed back headphones. And the pair I use are nothing fancy, it's just a cheapo set of Audio Technicas. Now, most people go crazy trying to make their room perfect, but at the end of the day, a basic pair of closed back headphones will take you a long way for mixing your low end, believe me. So in my opinion, you absolutely need at least one pair in your home studio. And this brings me to piece of gear number 2, and this is specific to people looking to record drums within their home studio. And that is an 8-channel interface. And I'm gonna tell you this much, I don't care if it's the cheapest 8-channel interface on the market by a company like Behringer. It doesn't matter. You need at least 8 channels if you want to record drums. Now, the reason why I'm so passionate about this particular piece of gear is because people ask me all the time whether they should buy a cheap 8-channel interface or a more high-end 2-channel interface. And often I'll ask them, well, what are you looking to record? And they'll say, oh, I'm looking to record everything, vocals, guitars, drums. And believe me, if you're looking to record drums, 2 channels ain't gonna cut it. But if you're looking to produce record quality, pro level productions, you need at least 8 channels if you're recording drums. Do not believe all of this nonsense about cheap interfaces not sounding good. These days, even the cheapest of interfaces are completely transparent. And as a matter of fact, stay tuned because I will be putting out a video series where I do an entire production with a simple, cheap 8-channel interface from start to finish, from pre-production all the way through to the final master. So stay tuned for that. So again, if you're looking to record drums, you need an 8-channel interface. And this brings me to piece of gear number 3. If you're looking to do your own mastering, you need a high-quality mastering limiter plugin. And the reason why I bring this up is I found that a lot of the limiters out there really destroy the transients on your drums. Now, I'm a fan of Isotope's Ozone. It's really not too expensive, but it's definitely worth the cost in my opinion. It's super transparent and it really doesn't destroy my drum transients. Now, just to clarify, this is only important if you're looking to do your own mastering. If you're not interested in mastering, don't worry about this. But again, if you're looking to do your own mastering, a quality mastering limiter is definitely worth it. Not a hardware limiter, a plug-in limiter. Now, I know those 3 pieces of gear might not be that obvious, but I see these mistakes happen over and over again where people try to make their room overly fancy as far as acoustic treatment, or they buy an expensive 2-channel interface instead of a decent 8-channel interface when they're looking to record drums, or they master their music with a subpar limiter. And again, when it comes to a mastering limiter, you don't need anything too crazy. I'm a fan of Isotope's Ozone as well as the Slate mastering limiter. So with that being said, let's talk about the 3 pieces of gear that you absolutely do not need. Piece of gear number 1 that you absolutely do not need in your home studio is any piece of outboard gear. There are constantly myths being perpetuated out there that outboard gear sounds better than plugins and you need it if you're a real pro. And I'm here to tell you that it's bullshit. Andrew Sheps, Chad Blake, Joey Sturgis, the list goes on and on and on of pro engineers that use nothing but plugins that achieve amazing results. So save your money and don't buy outboard gear you don't need. Trust me. And this brings me to piece of gear that you don't need, number 2. High-end preamps or analog preamps. Again, there's all this baloney out there that you need high-end preamps for great results, and it's not true. The preamps in your interface, even if it's one of the cheapest interfaces on the market, are completely transparent. Believe me, engineers 40 years ago would have killed to have preamps that are as clean as the ones that exist within your interface, even if you're using a cheap interface. Now, let me just clarify that yes, analog preamps or transformer-based or tube preamps do have a certain color and sound, but you can achieve that exact same sound in your DAW if you know what you're doing. The only difference is that the sound that you're capturing is clean and you have to add color intentionally. But again, you do not need to spend an insane amount of money on high-end preamps. Save your money and get those results within your DAW. And this brings me to piece of gear number 3 that you absolutely do not need within your home studio. And this is an analog console. Now, it breaks my heart when I see beginners online that are not happy with their productions or mixes, asking in forums how they can improve their productions, and some idiot will tell them to buy an analog console or a small analog summing mixer. And I'm here to tell you that it is ridiculous. If your mixes suck, an analog console is not gonna magically make your mixes better. Believe me, I've gone down that road myself. I've spent thousands and thousands on gear I didn't need, only to find out that my mixes sucked because I wasn't good enough yet. And much like analog preamps, yes, an analog console does have its own vibe and character, but you can achieve the exact same results within a DAW. I've been hearing about this myth since I started back in 2005, and I can't believe it's still a thing, mainly because there are so many engineers out there that get great results with a simple DAW. Pro engineers that put out real records. So again, save your money. Don't even think about an analog console or analog summing. It's a waste of money in my opinion. Now, with all that being said, I'm curious to know, what piece of gear have you been thinking about buying for your home studio? Leave a comment in the comment section below and I'd love to hear about it. So hopefully this video gives you some ideas on what you do and don't need when it comes to gear in your home studio. Because believe me, these days you can achieve amazing results with next to nothing. And on the topic of that, I've put together a 5-step guide for better heavy mixes so you can achieve better results with the gear you have right now. There's a link to the free guide right below in this video's description. If you found this video helpful, like, comment, subscribe, and share. And do not forget to click the little bell icon so you can be notified every time I upload one of my weekly videos on all things metal and rock production. You can both like and follow me on Facebook and Instagram. Links are in the description below. Until next time, happy recording.